And so, everybody's just getting snacks, whatever, letting me just have a few minutes to breathe. And all of a sudden, I was like, holy cow, her head is coming out right now. She's crowning. And I just yelled. So everyone, wherever they were at, could hear, she's crowning.
Holy Wild Birth is a podcast embracing the reclamation of giving birth, rooted in God's original design, undisturbed.
Here, we share homebirth stories highlighting God's presence as the great midwife, as well as conversations about all aspects of a holistic, spirit-led childbearing year. From the perspectives of myself, traditional midwife Lauren Hall of Rooted in Eden Private Contract Association,
and me, holistic doula and birthkeeper Brooke Collier of Sister Birth.
To choose a holy wild birth journey is to consecrate all your decisions unto the Lord.
And to reclaim creation unadulterated by centuries of human attempts to control and improve upon what God has already called good.
Please remember, birth is not a medical event, but a natural process. We are not your care providers, and this should not be taken as medical advice.
Hey sisters, we have a really good birth story for you today that I'm very excited for you to hear. This story is actually a bit of a unicorn. It includes some really unusual elements that make it really fun and honestly a little bit shocking to listen to. But before we dive in, you need a little bit of background information about this mama, Brittany. Brittany joined Embrace Birth Journey, which is my holistic course and membership program, several months before her birth. So she was with us for about 6 months, journeying inside of that container. And though this is her 6th baby, her previous 5 were born in the hospital. So this was actually her first home birth story. And you should also know that this story was recorded inside of one of our bi-monthly virtual Sister Circle Zoom calls that we do inside of Embrace Birth Journey. So she was actually telling this story to the community of Journey Sisters, and you may occasionally therefore hear her respond to comments from others in the Zoom chat box, but I think it all still makes a lot of sense. So buckle up for this story. That includes, among other things, very unusual cervix behavior and a face presentation. If you don't know what a face presentation is, you soon will. As we dive into today's birth story, just a reminder that the choices and beliefs of the mamas sharing their stories here are as individual and varied as the storyteller herself, and do not necessarily reflect the beliefs or recommended actions of Lauren and or Brooke.
So I can't remember if I shared with you guys about my cervix being really weird with all of my labors. When they would check for dilation, they couldn't find the opening of my cervix to tell me how far I was. And that has just been the way it is. It's just really like far to the right. And so they just have trouble until it comes down, and allows the baby to start coming out. And so, let's see. I had an appointment with my midwife a few days before my due date, and she went ahead and checked because I had been having so many contractions. I went ahead and had her check to see where I was at. And I just wished her luck because nobody can ever figure it out. So I was like 50% effaced, she said. And then like she had a really hard time getting to my cervix. It was pretty painful. And she tried really hard, but it was just like not happening. So basically that means I'm not dilated at all. Okay, here you go. So that was a little bit discouraging, but I knew that was pretty normal for my body, just with my cervix. So anyways, a few days after my due date had passed, we went in again. for her to try and do another exam and just see if anything had changed, if it was starting to come down. And oh my gosh, it was like basically what she was trying to do. She called it training my cervix to come down. So she was kind of like pulling on it a little bit. I'm not really sure exactly what she was doing, but you can imagine that it's not fun. And she called it a pull-up, which I guess is like a bump or something, like maybe scar tissue. But it was like right at the opening of where my cervix would start to dilate. So she was like, okay, we've got that going on. So, but again, I wasn't dilated. So she was just trying to help it come down a little bit, because she could feel that the baby was really low and I was having contractions, but nothing was happening with my cervix. So I was like bawling, and it was so painful, so painful. So then we were like, okay, we're not doing that again. She's like, I don't want to torture you anymore. So we're just going to kind of see what happens. And I think that was maybe Friday, I don't know. And then Sunday night, so the weekend goes by and we have things going on. Sunday night, I woke up at 12:30 having contractions every 5 minutes that were lasting about a minute. And they were pretty intense for a couple of hours. We waited a couple of hours, and then I was like, okay, I think like this isn't stopping. So my husband called our midwife, Lenny Sue, and her two, I'm not really sure if they're doulas or if they're just a support team for her. But they all three came, and they were here for a few hours, and the contractions just stopped. And so I was like, what is going on? So she did do another examination, not as intense at all, but just like, okay, why are we having these contractions, but nothing's happening? And still I was not dilated. So it was like so discouraging. So then Monday comes, and I rested most of the day because I was exhausted. We were up most of that Sunday night. We went to bed Monday, normal time, like 10 o'clock. And around 12:30, I woke up again with contractions. But this time they were 3 minutes apart, getting more intense pretty quickly, lasting about a minute, a little over a minute. And so I was like, okay, I actually really think this might be it. It felt different than it did Sunday night. Like I could just tell there was something different about it, but I also could feel that something wasn't quite right. And so I was like, just breathing through the contractions, doing the different things like squatting. My husband got the pool ready, eventually I was like on all fours, groaning through them, breathing. Like it was pretty intense. We got the whole team here. So Lenny Sue, my midwife, her two girls, and then I had two friends come just to support me, and then my photographer. So everyone's here at this point. I'm in the pool, and I'm feeling like it's only been maybe a couple of hours. So maybe it's like 2 or 3. I didn't like write down the times of what was happening, but I'm feeling like I need to push, but at the same time feeling like something's not right. Like I shouldn't be pushing, which is weird. Like my body's like time for baby, but my head was like, something's not quite right. So, they checked me, they could feel her head. And then Lenny Sue was like, your cervix isn't dilating. Like it was so far up on the right, and it just wasn't doing anything. And so she was like, okay, they wanted so badly to let me continue to labor in the water. But she was like, I need to get a better idea of what's going on here. So we need to get you out and into the bed so I can really like figure out what's going on and make sure everything's okay. And so kind of like what Gina was saying, I got out of the birth pool and my legs were so tired, and I had to go up the stairs to get to my room. And it was like, oh my gosh, it was awful, but I got up here, they got me into the bed, and my midwife just kind of stopped everything and got everybody up here and said, we just need to pray. we need to pray over her and the baby. And, sorry. So my girlfriends were up here. Paul obviously was up here, my husband, and they just laid hands on me and prayed. And such a cool thing that came from that. The whole thing, the photographer that we had hired, I know her because the photographers in our community are really close. We do a lot of things together. And so I had a relationship with her previous, but I also knew she's not a Christian. So everyone here was a Christian except for her. And so, she got invited into this space where she got to like see God work in a really tangible way. And she was here yesterday and we were just chatting about it. And she was like, I think I just need to rethink my whole life. Like, I saw God work and I don't even I'm not a religious person, So it was just such a cool thing that even in the midst of the struggle with the labor, like God used such a cool moment. So anyways, they prayed over me for a few minutes, and Lenny Sue, my midwife, did another examination. And she was like, your cervix just isn't opening, so I need to open it for you. Like, I need to manually help it open so that way you can have this baby.
That sounds like it's gonna hurt.
It did. It was really, really awful, but yeah, like there's really no other words. It was awful. So she did that and she was able to stretch me. I think she said she was able to open it to about a 5. And then, I was like, I need a break. So she stopped.
Yeah. And
everyone just kind of went downstairs except for Paul and one of my girlfriends. And I didn't know this at the time, but Lenny Sue and the 2 girls, her support team, they had gone outside, and one of them was telling me days later that they were discussing like what's going on and what might need to happen. Like, I might have to be transferred. We just didn't know. Lenny Sue wasn't sure what was going to happen. And so, everybody's just getting snacks, whatever, letting me just have a few minutes to breathe. And all of a sudden, I was like, holy cow, her head is coming out right now. She's crowning. And I just yelled. So everyone, wherever they were at, could hear, she's crowning. And it was like within, I'm not sure how long after Lenny Sue did what she did and that took place. I don't know, if maybe 30, what do you think? 30 minutes?
2, 3 contractions.
Yeah, it wasn't long.
Amazing.
So, and it was so intense, like uncontrollable, that pushing feeling that like takes over your body that you can't control. And so everyone like rushed up here, so got on my bed, just everyone's around me to support what's going on. And the next thing I know, I hear, that's her face. Her face is coming out. And so I'm like, oh, good grief, not again, And so, yeah, it was her face. And apparently from the contraction that her face came out and the next contraction, it was 12 minutes that I was like that, in that position with the head right there, or with the face right there.
12 minutes.
12 minutes.
With her face showing, but none of the rest of her.
Nope.
That is unreal.
I know.
I mean, I believe you, but it's also unreal.
It's what, and one of the girls was saying that Selah was like making faces. She was like grimacing and like just making faces, and they were just, everyone was so amazed and shocked and in awe. It was like, whoa, what, like this is happening. And I was just yelling, get her out of me, because it hurts so much.
That's a lot of pressure and tension to hold for a long time.
And I just remember one of the girls saying, we can't get her out of you. You have to do it. And so I was like,
touche.
Right. Right. And I just remember, and even like earlier in the labor, I just remember continuing to tell myself, don't stop breathing. Don't stop breathing. keep breathing through. Like, this isn't going to last forever, you know? And so in that moment, that's what I was telling myself, just keep breathing, just keep breathing. And they were helping me remember that too. And then finally another contraction came and I pushed again and her head finally came out, and I can't even tell you the relief. They said that there was even like an audible pop. Like, it was just like,
Oh, wow.
and I just said, oh my gosh, I feel so much better. Like, we can just stay like this for a while. Oh my goodness, it was so relieving to have her head out. And then, you know, another push came and I got to catch her. I caught her and brought her up to my chest, and it was just really neat to be able to do that.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. And so yeah, it was definitely interesting, and full of twists and turns.
Yeah.
But she's here and she's safe. And it wasn't too long after that my placenta, you know, I had the contraction to push the placenta out. And it's really interesting because you know, a couple months ago I had COVID, and when Lenny Sue was looking at my placenta, she called it a placenta, or a COVID placenta. She could tell from my placenta. But they said that even though they could tell it was a COVID placenta, it still looked pretty healthy considering. And so, you know, that was good. And they said, yeah, it was, she was a little bit overdue.
Yeah.
Which, you know, we knew, but it was all my cervix stopping everything up, because my body, they were like, your body is ready. You are completely, like, her head is right there.
Yeah.
But your cervix just isn't open.
So your
Which
baby's
is so
head was
bizarre.
descending and you were even effacing, but your cervix was just stubbornly staying closed and off center. So that's so unusual. So how many hours in was it before your midwife manually stretched your cervix open?
So let's see. I think she did that. I want to say it was around like 6:30 in the morning, and labor had started at 12:30, and then Selah was born at 7:30. So once she did that, it was very quick.
And your body finished it from 5 centimeters to complete, obviously on its own.
Yes.
By God's grace. Yeah. And quickly. Very quickly. Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah, it was wild. The whole experience was just wild. But Lenny Sue told me later that, you know, if I had gone to the hospital, it would have been a cesarean. With the cervix issue and the facial presentation. Apparently with facial presentations, like 98% of the time they end in C-section. And so for me to have 2 vaginal facial presentations is like mind-blowing to her. And she, you know, she really believes it's because my cervix, how it's tilted to the right, it just causes something funny. Which it's so bizarre, because when they first got here, they checked her positioning, they did the belly, whatever it's called, mapping, and she was in perfect position. Her back was facing out and she was good to go. Every contraction I had, I could feel her moving and doing weird things, and it made it even harder to like work through the contractions, because she was wiggling around and flipping and doing different. And so eventually she ended up in that position where she was facial.
But she was posterior, correct?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Sunny side up face presentation.
Yeah.
And so your midwife is speculating that perhaps because of the way your cervix is positioned and behaves, it kind of is like forcing her, for lack of a better word, into a like less than optimal position as she tries to like push past what she can't actually push past.
Right.
And this happened for you with your last baby too.
Yeah, he was sunny side up. So our third baby was facial presentation, and then I had a normal one, and then sunny side up, and then another facial.
Oh gosh. Was your first face presentation baby also posterior? Like,
yep.
Okay.
She basically actually came out exactly the same. Her lips were kind of the first thing. So like their lips were so swollen,
I
it was
bet.
like,
Yeah.
yeah. But once she came out, she was so good. Like she on her the APGAR, how they do the APGAR every however long, she scored a 10 on the first round. So she was super good and healthy and fine. She just wanted to come out looking at the world. And she gave everyone a show. I mean, goodness, everyone was just, and like the birth workers and then my midwife was just like, she's delivered over 1,000 babies, and this was only her third time seeing a facial presentation. And so for her, she's like, holy moly, and she's like telling her peer group about it and stuff.
Yep. So
Yeah.
you're a unicorn also in a different way than Gina's unicorn.
I know.
The double face presentation, mom.
Yeah.
Oh, and I think, like, knowing all the history, the fact that you chose to go at home this time when your first five were in hospital, just, I don't know, this is courageous. Like, it's courageous to know that, like, you've had this history of posterior and face presentation babies, not that could happen again, but this time you put yourself in a really different setting with a really different set of care providers. And
Yeah.
like, you can be really proud of yourself. That's like, you navigated a really tricky, unusual labor.
Yeah, it was very weird.
Wow.
So weird.
Wow.
But it was good. And like, I'm really thankful that we had decided to go with a midwife, because otherwise, I would have continued to labor and who knows what would have happened. So I'm thankful that she was here and that she was willing to say, okay, let's like look at what's going on, and let's not just jump to something and send you to the hospital. Let's try to figure out what's going on and see if we can help it. And then if we can't, and then, then we look at other options. But
Yeah.
really
That was absolutely like the right choice for you guys for this birth. This is who you needed with you.
Yeah.
And maybe you needed her with you in a way you couldn't have anticipated even,
right.
But God knew and led you to choose this person.
Yeah. And I'm so thankful.
Yeah.
And I just think it's so cool that like Jessica, our photographer, like she, not being a religious person at all, watched everyone pray over us and then tangibly saw a shift and the miracle take place. Like she saw and felt that whole thing happen. And I just think that's so cool. Like if I have to be in misery to have a facial presentation for that to happen, that's really neat. Like I just find that to be really cool.
I love your heart there. That's so good. That's so good.
Now I don't want to do it again, but I'd be okay with that never happening again.
Understandable. And how are you feeling postpartum so far?
Pretty good. Not my husband has 2 weeks off, so he's here to help with the other kids, and it was a little bit overwhelming because our kids, I think I shared with you guys this year, we chose to put our 3 middle kids in school. And we've homeschooled the past 5 years. And so that was like already a big decision. And I was just praying that she would come before school started. So we wouldn't have like this double whammy, but no, they started school Monday and then she came Tuesday morning. So my kids missed a couple of hours Tuesday, but no big deal, not a big deal at all. It was totally fine. But it's just funny that it was like just all these huge transitions for our family kind of all at once.
Yeah, that is a lot. Oh.
Yeah, we're doing pretty good. And she was pretty high on the jaundice score.
Okay.
I think she was 18 or 19 or something. So like if you're at the hospital and you score that, they put your baby under the blue light, which really sucks. But we've just been going in the sun and she's slowly getting better. So
good.
Other than that, yeah, the kids just argue about who's going to hold her all the time.
Gosh, that is one of the sweetest and hardest things about having a lot of kids. It's like having to share the baby with the other children or with the, Yeah, it's like both like, oh, my heart, and also my baby.
Right. I know. I'm like, you guys, I would like to hold her too.
Yeah. Oh, good. You look good. I mean, the lighting on your video is weird, but you still look good to
It is
me.
weird. I don't know what's going on. It's really weird.
How does anyone have any questions or feedback or thoughts they wanted to, if that's okay with you, Brittany?
Yeah, totally.
I was wondering, I've been really conflicted about like pediatrician care and like pediatrics, and I was just wondering what you might be doing. I was going to ask Gina, but since Gina's in Canada, it might be a little different there, so I didn't know if you guys have a plan or what you guys are doing.
Yeah, so I'm probably like the black sheep of our group. Just because like while I am naturally minded and try to go that route as much as possible, I also highly believe that there's a time and a place for doctors. And so it's important to our family to establish care and have a pediatrician for our kids. And so we will, oh my gosh, I don't know if you can hear that on the baby monitor. The 2-year-old is not sleeping.
That was pretty fun.
So I will be making her an appointment, but I'm waiting until her jaundice is cleared up because I don't want to risk them saying I need to go to the hospital because I'm not willing to do that. The sun is way better for her than the blue light. So once her jaundice is cleared up, I'll make her an appointment and take her in and just establish care. It's important to me because like you just never know when there's a major issue like a broken arm or which we've had and things like that. It just makes it so much faster and easier if you have a pediatrician that you've established care with. You don't have to wait months to get in.
Any other questions for Brittany? And I'm assuming now we can all picture what a face presentation is because she generously shared that incredible photo with us.
You've all seen it.
You know what that means. It's like one of the most rare presentations that there is. So
it's like less than one woman in 1,000 women or something, like, I mean, that's like really rare.
Yep. I have not witnessed that in real life yet. I've only seen a couple other pictures of it, but I've never witnessed it in real life. So the whole labor though was 7-ish hours.
7.
So it wasn't incredibly long. It was just strange and difficult.
Yeah. And I knew something wasn't right. And I think had my cervix been where it was supposed to be, it would have been a lot faster. And I probably wouldn't have gone over 5 days either, like everything would have been a lot faster, but oh well, what are you going to do? And when she was born, she was 7 pounds, 5 ounces. And honestly, I thought she was going to be bigger because I went over 5 days, and 7 pounds something is what all of our kids have been. So I was expecting her to be a little bit bigger, but nope. Just tracked right along.
I think it's worth noting, as I'm thinking about this, that your midwife sensed that you needed some manual help with your cervix was backed up by your own sense that something wasn't quite right. And like, I'm thinking of how invasive and possibly inappropriate it could have felt to have her do what she did if that wasn't the case, like that you already sensed something isn't quite the way it's supposed to be here. So that probably made you more like receptive and open to her appropriate intervention.
Yeah.
And I don't know, talk to me about that a little bit. Like, how did it land with you to have her offer that intervention? Like, was that like, yes, please do something and help me here? Or okay.
So well, and when I was in the water and they were kind of checking me, they could feel that the bag of water was bulging. And so I was like, just pop it, like get it out of, maybe that's the problem. So they went ahead and broke that for me when I was in the water, and still, I was like, okay, still something's not, it's still not going right. But yeah, so it's kind of hard to explain because I knew what she was doing needed to happen, and it was very painful, and it's like, in a sense, it felt violating almost, like having anyone down there, like it's just not fun, right? And so it's kind of like a bittersweet, like I knew it was necessary, I knew I didn't want to go to the hospital. And so I knew that she was doing everything in her power to give me the birth experience that I was wanting and desiring, you know, and she wanted me to stay home. And the whole time she even kept saying, like, we're going to try and get you back in the water. If we can get you back to the water, we're going to. But after she did that stretching, it just happened so fast that it wasn't even like going back to the water wasn't even a thing. But yeah, so it kind of, I don't know if that makes sense, but it kind of went both ways. Like it was violating in some senses, but also like very necessary. And I was really thankful for it.
I can definitely understand that both and. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's natural for things to be both and. Like it's rarely is a reaction to something 100% one way. Like,
yeah,
there's definitely space there to feel both like this is violating and I don't appreciate it, but also like, yes, thank
but
you, because the alternative is something I want even less, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yes. Like I would way rather have that happen than have to be rushed in for a C-section, you know, like
yeah.
I'm so thankful. And I had told her that my 2-year-old, you know, his labor was really traumatic for Paul and I. And so this birth for me, I really wanted it to be redemptive. It's our last baby. And I want it to be a good memory that we look back on, a positive thing that we look back on. And so even with the things that happened, I don't feel traumatized from it, you know. I feel like it was a really great experience. I would not trade being at home, you know. I wouldn't go change that to going to the hospital. I'm really thankful we chose to be at home. And I think with postpartum, like it's helped me feel more relaxed, and you know, just being able to be in my own bed, have our own food, be able to go down to my rocking chair if I want to, like, you know, it's just nice to be home. So yeah, so I don't, that all kind of, Sarah asked, how are you feeling physically and emotionally doing very well, and physically too, actually. The after pains on your 6th baby are not fun. That was a little hard to get through. I did a whole bottle of after ease right after she was born. Every 5 minutes I was doing the after ease stuff until it was gone. And then I took some ibuprofen as well, because it was just so much. It was almost like worse than labor. But I'm totally fine now. I didn't tear, which is ridiculous. Like, how did I not tear? I don't know. So yeah, healing very well. I'm not bleeding a whole lot. And it's funny because typically I bleed for a good 2 weeks. So I bought like the adult female diapers this time, because I was like, I just want to be comfortable. I don't want to leak. Like I'm just going for the diapers, which I'm thankful. They're great. The diapers are so much better than the mesh underwear and big pads. So I would recommend the diapers to everyone, but I'm not bleeding that much. So I kind of feel ridiculous wearing this huge diaper for really no reason, but whatever. So yeah, feeling pretty good.
That's so interesting about the nature of trauma, that going through a hard thing does not necessarily equal a traumatic response, like a trauma response.
Mm-hmm.
And like I've been learning about that more lately. Like, what are the mitigating effects or factors that impact how a difficult situation lands in our memory, like how we write it and encode it and respond or don't respond to it in our bodies going forward. And so much of it has to do with whether or not you felt like you were an active participant in what was happening to you, and that you were being respected and held tenderly and loved and cared for.
Yeah.
When those things are in place, even a difficult birth doesn't necessarily end up landing as a trauma memory.
Right.
And I think that's what I'm hearing you say, is that like you can acknowledge it was hard, and yet it still has this redemptive quality to it because of the other factors like surrounding it, and the way you were cared for and heard and respected and
supported.
Yeah,
for sure. And even one of my friends after, she was like, you were in so much pain, but you were so sweet to everybody the whole time, but you were in so much pain. And I was like, I have no idea how I treated anybody. Hopefully it was good, but yeah, it was really painful.
That says a lot about you.
It's just funny that was like one of her takeaways. You were so sweet to everybody. Okay.
I also just love that your birth team took that pause to just pray and acknowledge that like God is needed in the situation.
Yeah. That was
so
very cool.
wonderful.
Well, and that goes back to like in the course when you talk about should your midwife be a believer?
Yeah.
And I think like sometimes you may not have that option in your area, but
Right.
I definitely would say that if you do, that's the route to go, because you'll have that spiritual support as well, and I think with the whole pregnancy, I just think that was, because even when I was like having lots of contractions, right before Gina had her baby, and I was like, I don't know, something might be happening, and I talked to her on Lenny Sue on the phone, and she was like, just remember that God has a timing for this baby. Like she was always just speaking those truths to me when I was feeling like, why isn't anything happening? And so yeah, it just makes a difference for sure.
Absolutely. That's absolutely the ideal.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your story and for being part of this community, but truly grateful to have walked with you for a leg of your journey.
Yes, it's been fun. And your course was great. Very helpful. Even though this was number 6, I still learned a ton of things I probably should have known. And didn't. So,
oh, that's great to hear. Thank you for
yeah.
telling me that. Good. Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode of Holy Wild Birth. We hope that you were genuinely encouraged, inspired, and challenged by what you heard today. If you're loving what you hear, please make sure that you share it. Leave reviews. That helps other mamas find this content as well. And don't forget to read the show notes, okay? Because that's where you can find our email address if you want to reach out to us and start a conversation. It's also where you'll find free offerings as well as invitations to work with me and or Lauren. We can't wait to get to know you. See you next week.